Hello, my name is Jack Hillier. Um, I'm here to give you a quick demonstration of some of the new features of version 4.2 of Web Intelligence. Um, what I have here is I have a quick document listing the differences grouped by administrative data and processing and the things that you'll see more visually in Business Objects Web Intelligence. I'll quickly talk through the administrative and data and processing functions. And then I'll actually go into a demonstration showing you some of the new features that you'll actually see in the end user tool, Business Objects Web Intelligence. From an administrative standpoint, there's some really nice new enhancements in here. That is things like a recycle bin in the CMC. So in the past, if you went out and you accidentally deleted documents in Business Objects as a user, there was really not much of a way to recover that other than to restore the system. Now there's a recycle bin. It goes into the recycle bin. You send a request over to the admin telling them where it was located, and they can go ahead and restore it. One thing to keep in mind is it does say here that the recycle bin will only do things that were in a public document or public folder, excuse me. In addition to that, for those of you that ever create backup files, they call them LCM bear backup files. In the past, you had to restore the entire backup file. Now you can restore just select items from the backup file. There's a new tool called the BI Administrator's Cockpit. It's just really a nice visual overview just for the administrator to go in there and see what's going on in the system. Makes it easier for them to monitor and see what's happening. And then another one is the notification alert in the CMC. This one's been a little bit flaky so far, so we're looking into it. But basically what it is if we have maybe a system outage coming up and we want people to be able to know that that system outage is coming up, we can actually put a little broadcast message that'll show up right in the top of your Web Intelligence window in a yellow box. It'll say like system notification, and then you can click on it and it'll give you the details. Really nice way to pass out information as people log in to go to use the system. So that's the new features from the administrative side. From a data and data processing side, we have things like parallel data provider refresh. This is only for non-BW sources. But what that means is Business Objects or Web Intelligence specifically used to send all of the queries serially to the database. Now what happens is Business Objects can send them to the database in batch, and the database has always been able to handle processing them in batch and then returning the results. So for non-BW sources, we're getting extreme change in the performance of these because they don't have to wait for one query to finish before the next one starts. In the next version of the tool, SP3, we are told that it will also include SAP BW in the ability to run parallel. But that's not currently in this version. And then we have direct access to HANA views. So we can go ahead and connect directly to HANA. And one of the really nice pieces of that is that it will create queries right on a HANA view, and you get to use that power of HANA. And then we have an actual online mode. And what's really nice about that is it provides better performance during like a data refresh because it's handing off all that stuff to be handled on the HANA server instead of directly in Web Intelligence. For those of you that are unfamiliar with HANA, HANA is just an in-memory solution, both a hardware and software solution that will handle extremely large data in an in-memory way and allow you to basically connect directly to it and slice and dice very quickly through very, very large data sets. All right, now moving on to Web Intelligence. I'll first describe all these and then I'll go through and show them to you one at a time. Number one is we have something called shared objects, and all that really means is now the copy paste function within Web Intelligence has really been enhanced. It's to the point where you can right click on a table like a crosstab or a vertical table, and what you can do is you can copy that, and now you can go paste that into multiple different programs, and it will give you different formats that you can use. If you paste it to like something like Excel, you'll get a list of about 6 different formats that you can paste it in. If you copy it into another web intelligence document, this is where you get the biggest benefit. It actually copies the table. It can copy the formatting. It can also copy will also bring the entire query with it. So you can take one table from one web intelligence document and you can just paste it directly into another one. Very nice feature. I'll show you that in just a minute. Then we have BI commentary. And this one, I guess, we'll leave this open for judgment on your own to go in and decide how useful this is to you. But what this is an attempt to add a collaborative piece to the Web Intelligence report itself. So inside a report panel, you can go in and add comments, and other people can comment on those comments, so they can reply to them, and there'll be a streaming conversation in the left panel inside of Web Intelligence while you have the report open. And the intent here is to let users be able to go back and forth and have conversations from a support standpoint or from a troubleshooting standpoint without having to go to the help desk or to subject matter expert outside of whoever's using the report. The next one is GeoMap. We now have GeoMaps as a charting type in here. The way that GeoMaps work in here is a little bit limited compared to some of the more full-featured geo applications that are out there, but extremely nice. This has the ability to take something like a country object, a state object, a city object. We can use a quick little mapping exercise to map tools into there, and then we can just display stuff graphically right onto a map. Really nice feature. Works with all the other features with inside Web Intelligence, so things like element linking and all of that works with it. I'll give you a demonstration of that in just a second. And then we have shared elements. Shared elements work a lot like this shared object that I was talking about earlier, but the difference here is you can create a table or a chart or a crosstab, and you can actually save it as a shared element, which is a new type within Business Objects or within the Business Objects platform. Has a totally different icon in the whole works. And what that does is it shows you somebody built just a piece of an object, or just a piece of a report. And now I can open up a brand new report or an existing report, and I can say insert shared element and go pick that saved shared element that's out there inside Web Intelligence, and it will bring both the actual element itself, it will bring in the query that built that element, and inside Web Intelligence I have the choice as the end user to keep that as a linked object, or I can unlink it so that I just basically copied it and used it, and now it's just mine. If I want to leave it linked later on, as the owner of that element updates it, you can, as an end user, go into your report, right click and choose update shared element, and it will pick up all the updates automatically. Fantastic if you want to do things that are a more central, managed in one location type way. And then we have some new SQL functions. I really won't demonstrate these today, but we have an upper like, and it contains, the upper like works with most databases. The contains really is just a function for SAP HANA. All right, that being said, we've walked through all of them. Let's go ahead and show you them. I'm going to start off with showing you a shared object. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a brand new Web Intelligence report. Let's start with, I'm going to go ahead and just pick something that I already have out here. Training Wait just a second here. I'm going to go into the supporting documents from instructor, and then I'm going to open up an existing report that's out there. Let's do this one here. I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose modify. Now, one thing of note for the shared elements is that they're only available through the Java editor today. They're not available through the DHTML. So if I were to just double click on this and opened it in the viewer and then went into design mode, this part of this would not work. So I have to be in the Java editor. I can tell I'm in the Java editor anytime I open up a report by simply looking over here on the right hand side, and I should see 3 different menu options as this pops up. One will say reading mode, one will say design mode, and then if I see the word data over here next to design mode, I know for sure that I'm inside, right there it is. I know I'm in the Java editor right now. That's the easiest way to tell that you're in the Java editor versus the DHTML editor. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually look at this cross tab down here. I'm going to move my cursor to the edge of it where I have a 4-headed move cursor. I'm going to right click on it and I'm just going to choose copy. And what this is doing is this is copying it to the clipboard, but in an enhanced way that it never used to do this before. And now I have that on the clipboard in multiple formats. And now what it does when you go to paste it depends on what application you're trying to paste it into. So for example, if I were to launch Excel, and try to paste this into the Excel application, when I right click and say paste special, you'll see I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different formats that I can drop this into Excel. In the past, there was a lot less than that. So, for example, if I just chose HTML or text, I drop it in here. Notice it picks up all the formatting, the whole works, and this is just regular cells inside an Excel document, right? So that's one thing that we can do with it. But if I were instead to start a brand new business objects report, let's just say I want to create one that has no data source associated with it. We often do this if we're creating like templates or something like that. But I just want to show you if I have a brand new empty document, what happens when I paste this object into that Web Intelligence document. We've never had the ability before to take a table from one Web Intelligence report and document and drop it into a totally separate Web Intelligence document. Now I can just come in here, right click, and say paste, or I'm going to choose paste special so that you can just see the options here are just the data and the structure, everything except for the formatting. Or you can say, oh, do the formatting and everything. And I choose OK. And this will take a minute because it's actually copying the entire table and the data source that's associated with this crosstab. In addition to that, if this is a prompted report, it should actually prompt you at the time that it goes to paste it in, asking you for input on which data you'd like to see. So now it's copied the query and it's automatically prompting me. And just to make this a little bit smaller or simpler, I'm going to put this in for one plant, which is USD Silmar distribution, and I'll drop that in. And it's going to go ahead and put that table or that crosstab, exact same crosstab, same definition, same query, everything is being copied into this brand new document that previously had no object or no data source associated. And there you go. So a very quick way to go in and move content from one Web Intelligence document to another Web Intelligence document. I'm going to go ahead and close this, and that is shared elements. Or excuse me, shared objects. Shared objects is the terminology that we use for that. So that was the first one here, creation of shared objects.